Welcome to another episode of Fan Made Games, and this week I was going to talk about Mario fan games, but just like last time I got sidetracked by a side series, and now we're talking about Super Smash Bros. Fan games. And well, I thought I was only going to be able to talk about like 3 games for this episode, but I did some digging and I actually found a good chunk of Super Smash Bros. Games, surprisingly, including a 3D one. So, let's quit the chit-chat and hop straight into some Super Smash Bros. Fan games. And for the first time ever, we're starting with a 3D game. Super Smash Battle is the first and only 3D game on this list. And to be truthful, I don't really know if it counts as a Smash fan game. But it has Super Smash in the title and Nintendo characters, so why not? The game actually has a story where Dr. Pigo Robo is trying to destroy all the consoles in the world so he can make his own that would rule the world, and it would require people to insert money for the machine to play. What a horrible idea indeed. Just imagine.
I was so close! Ma'am! Ma'am! Mom! I need more money for Candy Crush! I'm on level 249. I'm so close. It's gotta end soon.
Thank the Lord our gaming world is not like that. But to stop Dr. Pigo Robo, all the world's best mascots got together to destroy this menace. Some of these characters include your standard Nintendo guys, Conker, Mega Man, Rystar, Banjo, Bomberman, and even Crash Bandicoot. There's also an unlockable character that I believe is Dr. Pigo Robo himself and requires you to beat the story with every character. But I ain't got no time for that, especially when this game really isn't that great. Smash Bros. Battle is a 3-dimensional fighting game with a health bar, meaning that you just have to beat the crap out of your opponents until they die instead of launching them out of an arena. You can attack and use super moves, but that's about it for your moveset, making the game a very simplistic experience. And by very simplistic, I mean the best strategy I found was playing as Bomberman and smashing the attack button, since doing this would drop a bomb on the ground, knocking your opponents down, and repeating this would sometimes lock them into an endless loop of never being able to get up. Overall, it's a cool idea, it just kind of falls flat in every aspect possible. But hey, it's a 3D game, and that shit ain't easy to program, so I'll give them props for that. And it's a fun game to play before moving on to better Smash Bros. Fan games. And well, with that being said, let's move on to Super Smash Bros. Slam, the first game in our 2D journey. Smash Bros. Slam is actually the only 2D game on this list that isn't all that great. It's still a fun game, don't get me wrong, but it's not really close to completion, and it's very easy to win. The game has a few modes, but most of them are locked and only 2 of them can actually be used, which are Event Mode and Melee Mode, and you'll want to head straight to Event Mode since that's how you unlock things. And starting off, the game only has Sonic unlocked as a playable character. As you complete new events, you'll unlock new assist trophies, characters, and levels, including Link, Ichigo, and Goku. And well, yeah, that's it. All the other characters can't be unlocked, and if they can, I have not found a single way to do it yet. The gameplay is also pretty bad, mostly relying on assist trophies since they do a crazy amount of damage, especially the Heartless, which can bring someone from 0 to 500%, making for some easy knockouts. Plus, getting someone locked in a punch combo is a pretty easy feat to accomplish. It's not really a game I would recommend going out of your way to find and play, especially since almost every other 2D Smash Bros. Game surpasses this one by miles, in every aspect possible. So, moving forward, we're going to be talking about a game that looks like it was designed to be played on one of these. Well, not one of these, but the original Game Boy. I don't have an original Game Boy, so I thought holding up my SP would be good enough. Plus, it's got explosions on it. I was the cool kid on the block. Super Smash Land is designed to look and feel like it was made for the old school Game Boy, bringing you that awesome green tint and some pretty bad looking sprites and kick-ass chiptune music. The game has an arcade mode, endless mode, and versus mode. Arcade mode puts you in a classic match fighting against enemies until you get to the end where you fight Mega Man as a final boss. The game starts with 4 characters, Mario, Kirby, Link, and Pikachu, but there are 2 more characters you can unlock in multiple unlockable stages. To unlock Mega Man, you must beat Classic Mode with all 4 characters that you start with, and to unlock Vaporeon, you must beat her in Saffron City when she appears. Having these cool requirements to unlock new characters really reminds me of the good old-fashioned Smash Bros. Days where you had to do crazy stuff to unlock characters. The controls are a bit weird, seeing as one button makes you jump and the other button is for your special moves, meaning you have no regular attacks. If it were me, I would have made one button attack and the other button special moves and just make the up arrow jump. But I guess that's just how this game is played, meaning you really can only fight using your specials, but giving it a limited feel does make it feel more like a Game Boy game. Smash Land is definitely a great experience that you should try, but it's not something you'll want to spend hours of your time on for sure. Next, I'm going to be talking about 2 games at the same time, since they're basically the same game, and from what I can see, they're made by 2 different people. But seriously, it has the same menu, the same events, the same fighting mechanics, the same sprites. The only difference is that one game has more characters. And by I mean more characters, I mean a lot of more characters. I wrote out a list I was going to read to you guys and make it this long, drawn-out joke thing, but well, there's just too many. Here, just look at this picture and you'll see what I mean. There's like every Sonic character, multiple different anime characters, Steve from Minecraft, and the bears from Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, why? Why do we need these things in Super Smash Bros. Games? Both these games are called Super Smash Bros. Rumble and Super Smash Bros. Universe. The first being the one with less characters and the later being the one with the giant list of fighters. To unlock these fighters, you must enter an event mode and complete challenges, which usually require you to beat some enemies. Doing so will then unlock that character for you to free play with. And unlike the last couple games, this one actually plays like a Smash Bros. Game, giving you standard attacks, smash attacks, and special attacks. This allows you to chain some cool combos, but it's still pretty hard at times since there's really no visual feedback if you are hitting someone. You can kind of just be inside someone and still deal damage to them even if your kicks are flying way past them. But just like I normally do, I found the one character with the brokenest move ever and just did that over and over and over again to win. This move was Donkey Kong's side move. Sadly, the game has some glitches, making it so I couldn't unlock some characters, and well, Donkey Kong looks like a stoner. Just look at that head bob. Up next, we have the game that I enjoyed the most on this list, and that game is Super Smash Bros. Crusade. The game includes a very well done roster with not too many crazy characters, but just enough to make you happy. It also allows for online play and up to 6-player battles, making for some hectic fights. On top of that, the animation for all of the characters is amazing and the levels are varied, look beautiful, and are really fun to play on. Plus, characters react very well to being hit, showing stun animations, really letting you know when you hit someone. If you want a really authentic Smash feeling game, this is one I would recommend for sure because I had a ton of fun with it. Even though I expected the game we're going to talk about next to be my favorite, this one really blew me away in all aspects, and that's what made this one the best from my opinion. It'd be nice if it had a classic mode or some kind of story mode, but the versus mode is great. Feels like you're actually playing Smash, especially with the ability to change all the settings from stock to time or which items you want on. But now it's time for the main course, the game that you've been waiting for me to talk about. Or that you haven't been waiting for me to talk about. I just kind of assume that you guys know these games I'm talking about and know what game is going to be coming next. Even though in reality you probably have no clue what I'm talking about or what game that I'm about to talk about. Anyways, next is Super Smash Flash 2. In an internet website far, far away, there was a game, a masterful game released in 2006 and gained many awards. This game was known only as Super Smash Flash. And as time passes, a sequel was to be born. But sadly, it was not to be. Until a reboot, yes! Super Smash Flash 2 was born anew as a reboot from the original game, bringing fantastic graphics, online play, plenty of great characters, settings, and areas to play in. It was the perfect homage to Smash Bros. Now that I'm done being weird, Super Smash Flash 2 is a reboot of the original game and upgrades everything about that game in every way, shape, and form, and is one fantastic experience. The game does feel a bit slow, but I feel like that may have to do with my computer. But overall, I think Super Smash Flash 2 is a fantastic game. I mean, just look at this. I have 4 anime-ish characters fighting it out in an anime arena. That's what I love about these fan games the most. It gives us these characters that we would have never seen in Smash Bros. Otherwise. Pretty much all of these games were pretty good experiences, and I didn't find myself loathing playing any of them pretty much. But I do have to say, go out and play Super Smash Flash 2 and Super Smash Bros. Crusade. These 2 games definitely deserve the attention. And well, just like always, you can find the links to all of these games in the description below if you wish to play any of them. Also, don't forget to smack that like button and share the video around, and if you want to check out my Let's Play channel, you can, well, go ahead and do that, I guess. But until next time, I'll see you all in the next video. I just have to give a huge shout out to my super Patreon supporters, because without you guys, I would not be making the content I am right now. Thank you to Roblo Liberty, Brad Moore, Andre Joulard, Thomas Bethel, and the YouTubers Cray Trey, What a James, Legend Gary, and Alomarain.